All right, welcome MUS 131 Musicianship 2 class. This is your remote lecture while I'm away in New Orleans at the AMS meeting. So let's get down to work. What this is gonna be like is we're going to review some of the concepts and some of the things that we worked on with harmonic dictation. We're going to do 3 exercises. You just number them 1, 2, 3 on the paper you're working on. Bring them into class next Tuesday, and we'll work on them together and double check the answers. Okay, so this is just a time that we can drill over our exercises. For those of you who are not in class on Tuesday of week 5, regarding the homework that's due on Thursday, turn it in Tuesday of week 6. When we have class again, that'll be perfectly fine. Okay. You also should be working on your logbooks. This is week 5, halfway through the quarter, midterm time. You should be about halfway through your entries by now. Okay, let's jump in to the harmonic dictation that we've been working on. We've worked on 5 of 5, 5 of 2, and 5/7 of 4. Okay, in class a couple of times. Now let's look at 5/7 of 3, or excuse me, 5/7 of 6. 5/7 of 6. So we've got the 6th chord. We've got our 6th chord. And then we're basically, in order to do a secondary dominant, we need to have the sol-do relationship between the secondary dominant and the chord that it's tonicizing. Because we're so low with the 6th chord here, let's go downward rather than upward. I mean, we could go sol-do here, but let's just go sol-do. Okay, and so to make a dominant to 6, we have to start with what appears to be 3. Okay, so start with 3, or what appears to be 3, and then we'll move from there. Okay, what we need to do, of course, is to make it a major triad. To make it a major triad, we need to boost the 3 up to the major third from the E here to make it an E major triad, and that becomes 5 of 6, the leading tone moving upward, a perfect motion to the secondary dominant. Okay, so number one on your papers that we will check next Tuesday is going to be chords based on, is going to be a progression based on the secondary dominant of 6, the 5 of 6 chord. So here's what I'm going to do. Because this is YouTube, you can pull that little slider and listen to it as many times as you want. I'm going to play the progression bass only twice, then SATB twice. If you want to hear it again, pull that slider back, rewind it, listen to it again as many times as you need to see if you can get this as accurate as possible. Because you can listen to it an unlimited number of times, focus on the inner voices when we go SATB to see if you can get all of those inner voices just perfectly, as much as you can. Remember, the 2 methods where your ear fails you, use your knowledge of harmony, know where notes are typically going to go, leading tones resolving upward, 7ths resolving downward, etc. Good doubling, good voice leading, no parallel motion. Also, if you're not sure what the theory should be, or what the harmonic rules of voice leading should be, use your ear to help you, okay? They work with each other. All right, so this first example is going to be, when we start bass only, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 chords. 7 chords in length, and let's go ahead and do it. For number 1, I'm going to play this 2 times, bass only, 2 times SATB. As always, start with 1 in the bass, do in the space. Ready, or excuse me, do in the bass and 1 in the space. Here we go. was number 1. For number 2, we're going to deal with the same secondary dominants that we've been working on already, but we're going to start seeing these in inversions. Now, don't freak out. These inversions we will begin very easily, and they will be based on some structures that will actually be a little bit easier to hear even than root position secondary dominants. Let me show you how. So imagine we're going 5 of 5 to a 5. Okay. Before, we started with the 2nd scale degree, and then to the 5th scale degree. Okay, that was our 2. Then we're based on 2. Then 5 of 5 to transfer that from minor to major to 5. Okay, this way. And if you notice, there is the difference of there's chromatic motion here in this inner voice between do, well, not in this case, not do, between fa, fi, and sol. So what happens, one way that you can deal with secondary dominance in inversion is you can bring that chromatic motion down to the bass where it's a little stronger, a little easier to hear, and that can be very effective. So let me show you how we can do this. Now, we will not be able to, in this particular exercise, we're not going to start with 2 and then brighten it to the major 2 or the 5 of 5 before going on. We're going to use some other chords to pass through. For instance, we'll start with 4. Start with the 4 chord, which has fa in it, and move to fi in the bass. Now, just think of the 2 chord in first inversion. So we need an A, and let's do this. We need a couple of Ds. So this is 5, 6 of 5. Still needs to move to do. The leading tone still needs to go to the tonic, the new tonicized area, even though this is what we've got here. And then we can do something like that. 2, 5. So we have this fa, fi, sol, a really neat kind of fun chromatic motion right there in the bass. So we're going to deal with a 5 of 5. With a 5 of 5, this is number 2, in just that way. Okay, so listen to the bass. Know when you hear that chromatic motion that we're dealing with a secondary dominant. In this case, the 5 of 5, or the 5, 6 of 5. Let's listen. Okay, bass only 2 times. This is going to be 5 chords only, just 5 chords. So, do in the bass, 1 in the space. Here we go. One more time, bass only. And okay, let us do this SATB. Here's the voicing. Okay, and 2 times SATB. All right, now for number 3, we're not going to do anything new, but we are going to expand our first inversion secondary dominant practice to include some of the other chords that we've always worked on. So the key, what you're listening for, is you're listening for chromatic motion in the bass. Now be careful that it's not only chromatic motion in the bass. There are also other things that are possible. There can be diatonic motion, so it's not going to be a strict chromatic scale moving upward through the bass line. There'll be some chromatic motion, some diatonic motion, but when you hear that chromatic motion, know that you are going to be dealing with the 5/6 of something. What that something is, of course, will depend on the context. Let's go for it. All right, so this is going to be, we'll start bass only. This is going to be 8 chords. 8 chords. Okay, we're starting bass only again. This is 8 chords. All right, here we go, bass only. Try that again, excuse me. Let's hear that again, bass only, and. Again, make sure you can distinguish between chromatic and diatonic motion. Now, not all motion by half steps, of course, is chromatic. You have the mi, fa, and ti-do relationships that are half-step relationships. All right, let's try this. S-A-T-B. Here's the voicing. Let's hear this again. And. All right, that's the 3 that we're going to deal with. Again, listen to this as many times as you need in order to get all the inner voices as accurately as you can. We will go through numbers 1 through 3 next Tuesday's class just to kind of see how you did. And now we're kind of pushing forward with our secondary dominants. The next step, of course, is going to be dealing with less convenient inversions than those that give us strict sol-do relationships or chromatic relationships, but ones that jump around a little bit more, and also dealing with the 7th chords. Okay? Look forward to seeing you guys when I get back Tuesday. See you then.